Damn, Apollo, you crazy.
And that's why I hold my breath in times where I should speak up. That's why I sing my melodies back when you wanna leak up. Cause the stress is hard to hide, but I move with pride and ride for my guys and I. Know that I'm a blessed times, but know that I'm out here trying.
Yeah, I made it out that mud, made it out that dirt. Going harder for my dreams while I'm still on this earth. Had to step into that mosque and step away from church. On my way back to Allah and all that I deserve. Had to pay up for my sins, lessons that I learned. Had to give a sacrifice before my life was turned. And now I know that 90 bitches made me more than merch. And I keep pushing to the end even though it hurt. I'm just trying to find my way out. 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 Cause when I lost my dog, I thought it was the end. When Trevor lost his life, it was just the beginning. When I see Frankie fall, I couldn't fucking breathe. Lord, why'd you take my dogs and leave the pain with me? Cause I've been fighting back these tears, Lord. No longer feel my death, but only feel God. I watched them turn to angels, now they watching over me. That pain will fade away, my only choice is to succeed. With Apollo, I'ma take off to the moon. See my dogs in the sky, I'll be coming home soon. Taking my shahada, now that life is so new. Knew I would make it out doing what I'm supposed to. I'm just trying to find my way out. I'm just trying to find my way out. I'm just trying to find my way out. I'm just trying to find my way out.
Move with pride and ride for my guys and I. Know that I'm a mess at times, but know that I'm out here trying.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing out there? November 16th, 2024. Took the night off last night. You know, it's what happens when you're trying to put your kids to bed, and then you pass the fuck out right next to them, and then you wake up and you're like, wow, totally should have woken up and done my stream, but here I am. I'm back. How's everybody doing out there? There has been a lot of things that have gone on over the last few days, and we're just going to try and cover some of it. I have a ton of shit on the list to go over. So I just want to jump into it right away. First off, I appreciate everyone out there that's watching. We have a news source that we are streaming out to now. We are streaming out to Kick. So if anyone doesn't know what Kick is, it's like Twitch, and it's a competitor to Twitch. And you just go search the Alex Cuesta show there, and we'll show up. So we are now streaming out to X, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So wherever you're watching from, we appreciate it. Please go give us a follow, a repost, a share, smash the like button, subscribe, whatever you are doing, wherever you are doing it. Please go out and do that. Spread this word of mouth. We appreciate everyone that does that, because that kind of gives us a little more motivation to keep on coming over here. But we're going to be here regardless. Now, for those keeping score at home, there's no David. He has officially started his night job. He started it yesterday. He's enjoying it. He's, he had one day so far, and he already likes it, so we're happy for him. But he'll be joining us, not tomorrow night, but maybe the following night. And like we said, he'll be kind of, when he can be in, he will be in. So that's going to be fun to just have him bouncing in and out. But he's involved because quite literally, like, all the shit that I have to talk about tonight were things that he sent me. So he's kind of the brains of the operation. So show some love for Dave. What does Dave have here? Dave has some socials. He never gets to talk about his socials. So maybe I will embarrass Dave right now, and we could talk about David's socials and why you should go follow him, because David doesn't do shit on any of his socials. So you guys should all go harass him. So at dquesta308 on X, he's there. And I think the last time he reposted something was like November 6th, which is embarrassing. That was before, right after the election. But what else does he have? He has an Instagram. Let's see. Where's David's Instagram? This is what happens when you don't come on, Dave, when you have a job and when you abandon us. If you go to @Questicola Cuesticola. That's his Instagram. Let's see when he last posted something there. He, I mean, technical. Oh no, where'd I go? I didn't want to go to this one. Wrong one. Damn it. Trying to go to Questicola here. Here he is. Without, let's see, he always is a contributor on all our stuff. So technically, his last actual thing that he posted was July 14th. So he doesn't use any of his social media, but you can go support him there. And maybe if you give him some support, he will like everyone more and he'll start using it more. So let's jump into the preamble real quick right away. First things first, the Epstein client list. We still need to work on getting that out there. I have a lot more faith that we'll see it when we have the people that are being announced by Donald Trump. Um, and you know that Trump is doing just fine when both the leftists and the neocons are flipping the fuck out over his picks. That's when you know he's doing okay. There's some people being floated. I know Mike Rogers was floated for FBI chief, and there was a massive pushback against it because we all want Kash Patel there. So that's interesting. I read a little blurb. I'm not really going to bring it up in the show, but a little blurb that potentially Rick Scott has approached Laura Trump to fill in Marco Rubio's vacant Senate seat. Bittersweet on that. I want Laura to stay where she is because she's fucking fantastic with what she's doing at the RNC right now. So, I mean, I kind of don't want her to leave anywhere, but if she does, that'll be good for her. But yeah, so with the client list, we need to make sure that we get that out there. And Official Sticky, my man, what's going on? How you doing, John? I appreciate you watching. Hell yeah, bro. I appreciate you, man. Um, more with my preamble right here. Asking for money as always, but not for me, for the people, the victims of Helene and Milton, the hurricanes. As I've said before, we are approaching Thanksgiving fast. And one of the things we're all, most of us are going to be visiting our families, seeing people we haven't seen in a while, eating, talking, yucking it up. But the people that have suffered from Helene and Milton are still trying to pick up their lives, and they're going to be doing it for the better part of a year and change. They lost houses, they lost all their belongings, they don't have anything. So if you can donate to your favorite charity, I pick mercury1.org. But whatever you pick, if you could just send things, they're in desperate need down there. So go in and please go and do what you can. And also $1 to Moms for Liberty. They kicked ass this election. They absolutely were a dominant force in getting people elected, and they do a great work getting a lot of the bullshit out of schools, DEI, and also on the ground level with they're really starting to move out with local politics and in your state races and things like that. So they have been incredibly successful, but they're only more successful with your help. So if you want to start a chapter, go start a chapter in your area. If you want to help by just giving money, you could donate to them. Go to Moms for Liberty and help them out. My favorite Thanksgiving memory, Coach Farrell, Tommy Farrell with the comment here. What's your favorite Thanksgiving memory? I mean, I had a ton, some of my funnest memories, probably in recent years. My sister has started hosting most of it. And just, I don't know, just kind of just being down there and the whole entire family aspect. And taking, I don't know if this is kind of a memory. This might be a cop out because I don't have like a specific memory. It's really like getting to see like my uncles and my aunts and people I haven't seen and really, talking with them like, things haven't changed, which is always fun. That's always a good memory. But now it's kind of like being a little nostalgic because, you grow up and you take for granted that you're with your mom and dad and you're just going to your relative's house every single year and you're being dragged along and you're excited because you want to see those family members and you're going and you're going. And now as you get older, you move away, you get married, you start a family, you now have, your in-laws and stuff. You're going to go hang out with them. You're going to do holidays with them as well. And you took for granted all those years that you just, went to your aunt's house for Christmas Eve and things like that, or your other aunts for, aunt and uncles, or you hosted things and all this, your family just came and you saw them so much more often. And now it's just such a struggle to see everyone. So I guess my cop out is my favorite memories are just being around, you know, my awesome family and extended family and people that have passed on and everything like that. Um, and now it's just kind of going there and Coach Farrell coming back in because you live far, far away. I do, but I will be back in the area, Coach, for Thanksgiving. It's going to be short. I'll be in and out, but I will be back in the area temporarily to go and visit my family. So let me just finish right here with my little preamble. We need to continue to stay on top of FEMA for the transparency on them overlooking Trump supporters apparently during the hurricane. This is already something that's already been memory hold. I think we talked about this 4 days ago, and it's nowhere anymore. So it's our job as the people online, as kind of like the new media, I guess, to keep talking about this shit. And if you have another streamer that you enjoy, start bugging them about it. Keep on, with the Epstein client list, with just the victims in general, and just making sure we don't memory hold this stuff because David laughed at me because I added this to my preamble, but it's something that I feel like is important that we just don't allow it to go away. And Coach Farrell goes, "What if Manchester had a football game? Would you come home on Thanksgiving?" I mean, that would be fun. That would be fun. I mean, I am home. I'm gonna be home this Thanksgiving, so that would be interesting. That would be interesting, Coach. We shall see. All right, so let's jump into the fun stuff. I want to start off. We've been highlighting on the last few shows Scott Jennings, GOP strategist over at CNN, has just been an absolute monster in being based as all hell and destroying everybody at CNN very often. And I want to bring up this tweet by the Vigilant Fox over here. Let me see if maybe this will make it better. Haha, that makes it better. It will, this tweet right here, Vigilant Fox, kind of talking about what Scott Jennings says. I want to watch the video because Scott Jennings absolutely fucking torches this panel. Now it's about RFK being nominated. It's Scott Jennings. The first guy talking is Jeff Duncan. The one sitting next to Scott Jennings is Jeff Avalon. And I just want everyone to watch how based Scott Jennings is and how he handles all these panelists, not letting him get an inch, but also not being a psycho. So let's roll this right here.
If we're being intellectually honest, there's really no good reason why Bobby Kennedy, RFK Jr., should be HHS secretary. An advisor, a confidant, somebody who talks to the president and advises, but there's no managerial experience in his resume. There's nothing that says he is qualified to do this job that is in charge of the health of all of us, all these different lanes. If he has views and has insights around food sources, around vaccines, then those should be given in advisory roles.
Why?
Because
what were the qualifications of the previous ones?
Well, I think it's important to always remember that you put yourself. Say that again?
What were the management qualifications? I mean, Xavier Becerra.
I'm not talking about the previous. I'm looking forward.
But you're calling into question whether he could actually do this job, and I think it's
absolutely. I think America is now, and I think
it's important to discuss it because Xavier Becerra was just a lawyer and a politician with no management experience.
So does two wrongs make a right?
Sylvia Burwell was a Walmart lobbyist. Donna Shalala was a university person. Look,
RFK Jr. is a nut.
Okay, so that's different than what you just said. You just said he doesn't possess the requisite managerial experience, but then we get to the real issue here, which is you want to insult the man, which is your right to do because you opposed him in the election. But you, doctor, are raising the issues that he has been raising, and I think they're appropriate questions to raise. I don't know whether he can be confirmed or not. The vaccine stuff at the table is obviously going to be the flashpoint of this hearing. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you one thing. This whole issue of the CDC and these public health agencies, look, public trust in the health regime in this country is as low as it's ever been.
But why, Scott?
Because of COVID.
Right.
Because of school closures. Because of mask mandates. Because this country was... But let me just finish. Because this country was drugged through a bunch of condescending and heavy-handed mandates that all turned out to be garbage, and that's why it's low, and the questions are valid.
And RFK is the answer to all of that.
Yeah, but RFK helped promote the assault on the CDC that lowered the disinformation that led to
CDC led
more
to
than
its own
1 million
demise.
deaths, Scott. More than 1 million deaths in the United States, higher than any other industrialized nation per capita. That's the result of failed policies, the demonization of the conspiracy theories.
Whose policies?
All right,
under the Trump administration.
John,
So what's interesting about this that I found the most interesting was Scott Jennings comes in there and does not let Jeff finish, right? Because he's ranting and raving, saying he doesn't have qualifications, and he's it's and he's Scott's just like, but why? Why do we have to have these qualifications? And when you start to present them with factual information, or you just start to even push back at all, boom, it's all gone. All their facade of staying, very professional goes away. And as Scott Jennings just hits him with facts about all the different HHS secretaries that had no managerial health experience at all, he then buckles down and just says, well, he's a nut. And boom, you get to the crux of it. They just don't like these people. And I'm not a massive RFK defender. I never have been an RFK Jr. defender. But you're looking at this and you have an individual like Jeff Duncan who is just being intellectually dishonest. And they are not used to getting this type of pushback. They are not used to someone like Scott Jennings, who is well spoken, who is on the facts, who knows what he's talking about, truly pushing back in a way that you just see them crack and break. And he has a whole entire laundry list of reasons why at least to give RFK a shot. And he doesn't ever come in and say, well, RFK is my guy, because in the end, if you're a conservative, if Scott Jennings, he's a conservative, RFK is not a conservative. He's someone that the conservatives agree upon with a few things, but he is far from a conservative. But getting to the crux of the issue that, Jeff is just there to try and shit on RFK. It's because he doesn't like him. And it's just awesome just seeing Scott Jennings shitting all over these people consistently. And it seems like we get a clip a day of Scott Jennings. And it's going to be interesting how long CNN allows him to stay on, if we're being honest. Is there really a change in that guard? Because if they continue to allow Scott Jennings to be on, then they're going to get a lot of people that were typically their viewers that were on the left that are going to slowly start chipping away at the right, because it's going to be like, Scott had a point there. And then the next night, Scott's a fucking psycho conservative, but he has a point again. And then the next night, Scott, maybe there's something to what he's saying. Let me look into it. And then as they start looking into it, you have people, that are going to start getting into more of the truth. And guys like Scott Jennings are important for that, because he knows how to say what he has to say and get away with it. Now, Ryan Grodowski was fantastic on there as well. Obviously, we're never going to see him again because he made a joke that Mendy Hassan fucking cried about. But we need guys like Scott Jennings and stuff to do these things. Now, is he going to be press secretary? I don't know. I think Trump already tapped someone for press secretary, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong, but we've been trying to keep track of all of the cabinet picks, but they are just coming rapid. But overall, Scott Jennings does great work over there. And official sticky with the Epstein client list equals Diddy list with the zip mouth. And that's true. And the thing is, if you get the Epstein client list, you'll probably get a real big crossover with the Diddy list. And I've always said, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop on Nashville, because we have Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey going down over in LA. In the Hollywood sector, we have Epstein with the billionaires, Diddy with the hip hop area. Nashville is the country sector. There's going to be a Grand Poobah in Nashville. We know it. So when is that boot going to drop? I'm excited to see when exactly that happens. But I want to go on to our next topic over here. Another guy that we talked about, another Trump, this one's a Trump appointee in Tom Homan. He has been labeled the border czar, which, mind you, I hate the title czar for any of the people in our government. I don't know why we use it. Czars are Russian leaders, and we are not fucking Russian. There's, I don't like the term. I hate it. But anyway, that's just a me. I want to get into this right here. Let's bring it up. Former guest of ours, Simon Ateba, brings up, boom, a tweet here saying, breaking. In first interview since Trump appointed him at border czar, Tom Homan spits fire, sends message to sanctuary cities to get the hell out of the way. Every morning, I'm angry about what this administration did to unsecure the border. This is the biggest national security vulnerability since 9/11. He vows to save the over 300,000 children smuggled by cartels and declares border security is national security. His warning, if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way because we're coming. And I just want to watch about maybe 2 minutes of his interview over here on Fox, because again, he's another one like Scott Jennings that just spits fire. So let's see what we got here.
President to come up with this job description. So let's hear from him. In his first interview after the major announcement, incoming border czar, Tom Homan. Tom, congratulations to you. It's bad for us. We lose you as a contributor. What went into the decision and the position?
Well, look, I've been on this network 4 years complaining about what this administration did to this border. I've been yelling and screaming about it, telling them what they need to do to fix it. So when the president asked me, would you come back and fix it? Of course I have to. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't. So, look, I'm honored the president asked me to come back and help solve this national security crisis. So I'm looking forward to it. And look, I love Fox. I love the family there. But I think that the calling is clear. I got to go back and help because every morning I get up. Every morning I'm pissed off about what this administration did to the most secure border in my lifetime. So I'm going to go back and do what I can to fix it.
So, Tom, let's talk about the job, because
I want to talk real quick. Tom Homan just seems like that guy that doesn't smile very often, but when he does, it's like a very like demanding smile. I don't know if you know what I mean, that it's like his smiles are just like, I said it the other day. If he wasn't on the right, we would look at him as a supervillain. And I feel like his smiles are just something like intense, because everything about him is intense. And there's Dave over there with a boo. Dave, I gave you a bunch of shout outs with your X and your YouTube to try and get you some viewership on those, even though you don't do a fucking thing there. But just anyway, with Tom Homan, I feel like he's just an intimidating dude in every which way. Let's continue here.
you're not an amateur. You've been doing this for years. You're a big cop. Also, you worked the border before, went over to ICE. You've done it all. What does the process look like? Because I think some people get the impression that you're shooting from your hip, but you know what you're doing here, right?
I know exactly what I'm doing. And look, this is the second time I came out of retirement for this president. And because it matters. And look, I was a Border Patrol agent. I wore that uniform, and I'm proud that I wore that uniform. So, and I was an ICE agent. I was the first ICE director that actually came up through the ranks. So the 20,000 men and women that worked for me, I didn't ask them to do anything. I do myself, because I was one of them. So look, I know the border, and I know there's a lot of great patriots. Look, I shut my phone off Friday night because I couldn't handle the phone calls, the texts, and emails from thousands of ICE agents and Border Patrol agents excited about the rumor I'm coming back. But more importantly, that thousands of retired agents, retired Border Patrol agents, retired military that want to come in and volunteer to help with this president secure the border and do the deportation operation. So I've been off the grid for 3 days just because I couldn't handle all the phone calls, and plus all the death threats rolling in. My family's not at home right now because that's starting. But that's something we're going to deal with. They're not going to bully me away. They're not going to shut me up. They're not going to make me go away. This is the biggest national security vulnerability this nation has seen since 9/11. We have to fix it.
And there's just a little glimpse. It's a 10-minute interview. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but Tom Holman's just fucking based, and he's going to do an absolutely great job over there. I am confident that he is just going to kick some ass when it comes to getting the border secure. You heard him saying that there's death threats. That just comes as part and parcel with any of these jobs, and you have your fucking nut jobs, and we shouldn't be giving death threats to anybody, especially with the climate that we had where Trump was almost assassinated, quite literally almost had his head blown off once, and the other time had a guy waiting for him in the bushes at a golf course. Like, there's no reason to even play that way. I don't know what drives an individual to give a death threat. But yeah, he's one of my more confident picks that Trump has made, where I just feel like Holman's going to come in and he's just going to, just try to do whatever he can. And he's going to get pushback every single which way. He's going to get pushback from the left. He's going to get pushback from the right at times, because we forget that the right are a bunch of bitches, especially in Congress, because they're going to look and go, but what about the compassion? What about it? We need to be compassionate to people. And Holman's just going to be like, no, they need to get the fuck out. And I think that a majority of Americans are on the same brainwaves as Tom Homan, where it's like, listen, do we still have sympathy for some of these kids that were born here by illegal immigrants and their citizens because we have chain migration as a law, and they're going to get kicked out after, maybe the family's been fine too. And it's like all of a sudden they get caught and they're out. Yeah, there's going to be some, sympathy for them. But in the end, fucking illegal. Like, I'm sorry, we have laws. We got to follow them. And there's going to be time. Like, people are freaking out like this is going to happen right away. And I can't wait until you're going to get, not even through January, where you're going to get so many sob stories, and a bunch of them are going to be fake, about this family was doing nothing wrong when ICE kicked their door in and blah, 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 blah. But then if you keep reading those articles, you'll find out that their uncle, who was recently living with them, was just committed a murder. And because of their connection with that family, and he had an address there, that is why they went and took the rest of the family. You're going to see a bunch of those that are going to pop up immediately after Trump gets inaugurated, because they are going to do everything they can to paint this as a genocidal act. They are going to draw so many conclusions to the Holocaust. And I just got done really rereading Ordinary Men by Christopher R. Browning, which is such a fucking required read, it should be, for every single kid in high school, just to realize that you do not have to be a psychopath to do psychopathic things. You do not have to be necessarily a bad person to do really bad shit. The guys that were in the order police during the Holocaust for Nazi Germany, majority of them were just regular people. They had businesses. They were forced to join a police force. And what happened? The 101st Battalion ended up leading firing squads. They tallied up to, I think they murdered 38,000 people shooting wise and delivered another 44,000 to death camps. So they're on the hook for like 84,000 Jews dying during the war. And that was a battalion of 500 people. And I think a small percentage of them were actually police, and an even smaller percentage of them were SS. So it's one of those things where it's just, we need to know that just because you're a decent person, indoctrination will do some shit to you. And we're getting a lot of people indoctrinated. And it's going to come hard. It's going to come fast. It's going to come swift the moment Trump's inauguration happens. It's already starting. But you're going to see so many things about Tom Homan and what he's doing. And they're going to dig and they're going to investigate and they're going to try and dig shit up and say it, just like they're doing with Matt Gaetz right now, just like they did with Jim Jordan. It is the playbook. It is the Saul Alinsky rules for radicals. It is beautifultrouble.org. It is the playbook that all the leftists have. When there is an effective Republican or effective conservative, you then try to pin scandal on them. Doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to be like, look at Brett Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh's not even really a fucking conservative, but they pinned a fake scandal on the man. And it ran, and the media ran with it. And you still have senators and congressmen to this day that will say Kavanaugh was a rapist. So be ready for that type of shit. It is coming, and we'll still be doing the show. And I will harken back to when I said this, that it is coming very soon, that your family members, your friends, people you know are going to be propagandized. And you need to continue to watch shows like this. You need to continue to watch other shows to kind of parse through the bullshit. And if you have not read Ordinary Men yet, Christopher R. Browning, go read it. You can audiobook it. I use the Libby app. The Libby app's fucking dope. All you need is a library card, your local library, and you put it into the Libby app. You have access to all their ebooks, all their audiobooks. So it's absolutely worth it. But if you have not read Ordinary Men yet, I highly recommend go read it. It's not a super long read. It's a pretty easy read, but I highly recommend it because it just shows how you don't have to be a radical to do crazy and terrible shit, and be prepared. So on that note of the border and what's going on there, I want to bring up this tweet about another fairly based individual, Rand Paul. So Mr. Rand Paul here, we have a tweet from Eric Doherty. Breaking. Senator Rand Paul is going to be the new chairman of the Homeland Security Committee and intends to immediately begin work on reinstating Remain in Mexico. Quote, for the health of our republic, Congress must stand up once again for its constitutional role. This committee's mission of oversight and investigations is critical to Congress reasserting itself. This is an important Senate committee. The AP reports that it has broad jurisdiction over government operations, including the Department of Homeland Security. It becomes official in January. Let's go. And there's a picture of Rand. So this is big. This is really big because, like I said right there, broad jurisdiction over government operations, including Homeland Security. So right away, you are going to be having an assist to Borders-R Hillman. I hate calling him Borders-R, but Borders-R Hillman, where Rand Paul is going to help him out. Remain in Mexico is going to be back to being the policy. And let's not forget, people are going to cry about this, but the executive branch makes immigration policy. That has always been the way that it's been. They have a broad jurisdiction because immigration is national security. And national security is handled by your commander-in-chief. And the commander-in-chief is the president. Just giving a little government lesson to the leftists that possibly are out there listening. So this is a power that is granted to the executive branch, and by extension, reinforced by the legislative branch, which is what Rand Paul is doing there. It's going to be a fun ride at the beginning of January. And I think Trump said it the right way, and I forget when he said it, but someone was asking, you have 4 years, and he said, no. What I want to get done has to be started within the first 100 days, and a lot of it needs to get done within the first 100 days because who knows what's going to happen after that. And he's already going to have to be starting to look at some pushback because you have John Thune over in the over as the Senate Majority Leadership, and you still have Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson, who's not necessarily the most conservative guy in the world. So this is an uphill battle, everyone. It's not going to be honky-dory. This is going to be Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, where we're hoping that we've reinforced both the Congress, both parts of the Congress, House and Senate, enough with some patriots, enough with some populists and MAGA people that they are going to be able to push some things through. But if, the vote for majority leader just is anything to implicate what's going on here, it might be really hard. So let's see what we can get done. But it is nice to see that Rand Paul's taking over, and Rand Paul is going to do the right thing by, getting in there and bringing back the Remain in Mexico. So, all right, let's jump in right into our next tab over hither. If I can get this going, let's see, technology. Boom. There it is. All right. So leading report right here, and I think this is another important one. These are 2 other people that were appointed. Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy appointed to DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. Breaking by leading report. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to host weekly live streams to provide updates on the Department of Government Efficiency's progress. Now, again, you are going to see leftists fucking scream about this. Scream. And they're going to analyze it. They're going to break it down. They are going to go crazy about shit like this. But this is a good thing. I mean, if you have any leftists in your family go crazy, is harken this back to the fireside chats that FDR used to do all the time. But this is a good way, and this is the way government should be. Musk and Ramaswamy are trying to be transparent about what they're doing. And this is the best way to go about it. This should be a model for everything and everyone about how to do things. And again, people are going to be like, well, Musk is just trying to promote his own place. Because again, he's probably going to do it on X. Why the fuck wouldn't he? And of course he's going to promote his own thing. Why not? He's in a position to do it. But in terms of the actual government implementation, this is incredibly important because you're going to get to see why they're doing what they're doing. It's not just going to be, oh, this is what happened and fuck you. You don't have an option. You don't have a say over why we did it, how we did it. You're at least going to get a peek behind the curtain as to why and as to, how much is this saving? What is it doing right now? So it's going to be a very interesting go around. And again, come January, be ready for all the propaganda about how this is a bad thing, about how what Elon and Vivek are doing are terrible. And I know people have reservations about Elon Musk being involved. Hell, I have fucking reservations about Elon Musk. But it is, not difficult to see that he's had a major impact in a positive way in a lot of ways. Could be negative too. I saw he was kind of leaning into a potential cabinet decision with Trump. Not a fan of that. Elon, you're involved in a department. Start focusing on that fucking department. And I think it was a Treasury Secretary, which I guess would directly affect what Elon and Vivek are trying to do, right? And Elon's trying to get an ally there, I guess. But overall, this is going to be a good thing. This is the way government should be run. This is the way that we should see what is going on. Now, again, if every single department did a live stream, 99.9% of them wouldn't get watched. But here's the thing, live streams live. They live forever. If you do that and you put it on X, you put it on YouTube, you put it on Twitch, Kick, whatever, people can always go back and watch them. And I think this should be a norm. This should become a norm where you have like press secretaries or somebody coming out and saying, this department has made this change in policy. This is the reason why. This is who it will affect. This is when it will go into effect, blah, 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 blah. So then at least the people can see what's going on. So in the words of a show that used to be good and ended up being terrible by its third season, this is the way. And again, people are going to yell. People are going to scream. But in the end, it can only be a positive. Speaking of yelling and screaming, let's go over here. The gay Republican on the 14th, 2 days ago, has breaking. All of the employees in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, ODEI, are threatening to quit if Pete Hegseth is confirmed at Secretary of Defense. Now, I hope this is real. I hope upon hope that this is real. Elon and Vivek would be ecstatic because it would be saving them some work to do. Because the Department of DEI or whatever it is, the Office of DEI or DIE, ODI, doesn't need to fucking exist. The only thing they are there to do is to cause disruption. Because we said on the show, and we will say it again, when they say diversity, equity, and inclusion, those words do not mean what you think they mean. Right off the bat, diversity does not mean diversity of thought. It does not mean, it means diversity of away from the norm. That's what it means. It means identity. When you see equity, that means Marxism, cutting off the head in order to make everyone even, bringing people down. And inclusion does not mean that you just need to, allow people to exist and be there. It's forced acceptance. It is forced praise. So these people are not there to do anything else but to cause disruption and mayhem. And this needs to be a reason why Pete Hegseth needs to be confirmed even more. And people are worried about his confirmation and if he'll be able to get in. Listen, guys, Trump has announced this. It is November 16th. These individuals now have 2 fucking months, maybe less, but they have a few months to polish up. You want to get them confirmed before the 20th, but usually you'll see the confirmations a little before Christmas. They take Christmas break, New Year's break, and then they start to do some. They have time to polish up. You don't think Pete Hegseth is studying right now all the defense policy and watching all of the past confirmations? Nate G, what's up? No fellas, just fella. Dave is doing his work thing. But you don't think Pete Hegseth is brushing up. You don't think that RFK is brushing up. All these guys are brushing up on what they need to know. So it's going to be interesting. And I mean, C-SPAN's going to get a bump. I know I'm going to watch these confirmation hearings because it's also going to be very telling what questions are asked, who they ask, and how they ask them. Because you know that these leftist senators are going to want their gotchas. They are going to want their gotchas, and they are going to sit there and their staff is going to draw them up the most obscure fucking policy and try and grill these individuals on those policies like they are fixes, like they are things that are talked about forever, and everyone knows it but them. So we shall see what happens and what comes of that. I'm going to go on to the next one right here because Trump made another appointment a few days ago and it became official as of yesterday. Let's listen to the Don himself talking about this appointment.
We have a big announcement, and I won't tell you the name of his, the exact name. I think he's an incredible person. Got an unbelievably wonderful wife named Catherine. So I won't tell you his name. Might be something like Burgum. He's from North Dakota. He's going to be announced tomorrow for a very big position. So everybody's waiting. There he is. Hi, Doug. He's going to be announced tomorrow, and we have somebody else that's probably coming up with him to be announced, who's a big one. And we're going to do things with energy and with land, interior, that is going to be incredible. And so I look forward to doing the formal announcement, although this is a pretty big announcement right now. Actually, he's going to head the Department of Interior, and he's going to be fantastic. Good, Doug. Congratulations, Catherine. But we'll make the formal announcement tomorrow.
So that's the Don announcing that Burgum is going to be the head of the Secretary of the Interior. Now, people I don't think realize just how important the Secretary of the Interior is, and that was Trump War Room with that tweet, by the way. Just want to give him credit. I don't think people realize just how important the position of Secretary of the Interior is, because it doesn't get talked about much. But that is the person that is basically implementing all the domestic policy. Obviously, there's the economic side and things like that, but they're super important to implementing that domestic policy. Whoa, I'm massive. Let me get the fuck out of here. Hey, there I am. So they're an important person. And Doug Burgum, he drove that Burgumentum that he had in his presidential run to be put in this position. And so everyone asks, like, why do some people run for president even though they know they can't win? And I think Doug Burgum knew that he wasn't going to be able to win. But why did he run for president? Because he had almost every single national news source, conservative, leftist, talking about him. Little blurbs, but talking about him. Like Burgum, they had the fun jokes of Burgumentum and do you feel it and things like that. And he had a chance to go on the debate stage a few times. And I had to say, Doug Burgum handled himself really fucking well. He really showed that he has the possibility of being somebody that can be on the national stage at some point. Now he's going to be overshadowed by some of the bigger dogs, like especially come 2028. Would Burgum run again? Possibly. He'll be a little bit higher on the list, right? Because he'll have name recognition at that point. But, you're looking forward to 2028 already. It is, it's JD Vance, it's Vivek Ramaswamy, it's Ron DeSantis again. Like those are the three big dogs. I think that you're going to get, but she's the governor of Arkansas. Huckabee Sanders. What's her first name? But Huckabee Sanders. I think that she's going to also throw her name in hat. She's been a fantastic governor. So you have some of those big rock stars that already have name recognition. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She was the press secretary, the first press secretary for Donald Trump. And it's you're going to see the big dogs, but Doug Burgum. Sorry, I keep on fucking your name up. But Nate G over here, I didn't think Burgum did poorly. And he also says, I came away liking him from debates. I agree. Nate, I agree. I thought he said a lot of base shit. No one just knew who he was. Governor, what is it, South Dakota or whatever the hell Doug Burgum is? I think Trump said it. But he's like the governor of South Dakota. Nobody knows who he is. And that is the problem here. But he's making sure you're going to know who he is. Because now every single conservative radio network or podcast knew exactly who Donald Trump was talking about there. And we wouldn't have. If he didn't make his presidential run, we had no idea who the fuck Doug Burgum was and why he should be there. Now he gets appointed to the Interior and people are like, oh, based. We liked him. We like Nate said, we came away thinking he did pretty good in the debates. And he's someone we're like, oh, that's a good choice. We're not doubting it. No one's having to go on the conservative side and go Google too much if you pay attention. I guarantee when he got announced, I think it was 2 days ago, probably people had it yesterday. All the networks were probably like, oh yeah, because Kristi Noem's South Dakota, right? Or something like that. Yes, North Dakota. You're right, Nate. He is North Dakota. But they probably all bring it up. Oh, Bergamentum is back. He made it to the Fed, but he's just not president. He drove same joke I made. So good for Doug Burgum for putting his name out there and getting himself there. And now he's going to be Secretary of the Interior, a feather in his cap. So if and when he runs again in 2028, which he absolutely should, why not? His name recognition is already going to be there. That helps with fundraising massively. He's going to get endorsements. He's going to get some big money people that are going to look at him and say, your performance is pretty good enough to get you into the cabinet. Let's take a shot on you. So good for Doug Burgum. I'm actually happy for him that he got that position. It's a incredibly important position. It gets overshadowed by like Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, and all the bunch of these. But Secretary of the Interior is a big fucking deal. It's one of the highest positions in the cabinets, and he will be involved in every single major domestic decision that this administration makes. So that's going to be huge. So good for Doug Burgum. I thought he did really, really good. Now we're going to go on to, do I have myself mixed up here? A little bit. Yes, I do have myself mixed up here. We are going to go on to this tweet right here, which I am questioning the strategy, but let's see. Kyle Becker in his tweet right here. Boom, boom. Kyle Becker says, Justin, and this is yesterday. Justin, Donald Trump is suing major media outlets ahead of his second presidential term. President-elect Donald Trump has filed multiple lawsuits against media outlets, including the New York Times, Penguin Random House, and CBS News, alleging defamation and election interference. One lawsuit demands $10 billion in damages over articles and a book critical of Trump, while another claims a 60 Minutes interview with Vice President Kamala Harris was deceptively edited. In response, media organizations have denied the allegations and stated they stand by their reporting. Press freedom groups, including the Committee to Protect Journalists and Reporters Without Borders, have expressed concerns about potential impacts on press freedom during Trump's upcoming term, which is not surprising. These quote-unquote watchdog organizations had no problem with the numerous hoaxes, smears, and defamatory statements made about Donald Trump. Trump is exercising his legal right to bring lawsuits against those who maliciously slandered him, libeled him, or attacked his character. This is not an quote attack on press freedom. It's called, quote, media accountability. So this is interesting because I feel a certain few ways about this. I love that Donald Trump is a fighter, and I think that's why a lot of people voted for him and continue to support him, because he fights and defends himself. Because throughout the history of Republicans running for office, they typically are just punching bags. They just sit there and they take all the slurs and they take all the isms thrown at them and they just let it go on the chin. George W. Bush was famous for trying to be above it. But there are times where Trump picks these fights, and I don't know if it's worth it. Trump won the presidency, and he won in a landslide. I get it. There was a lot of shit that went on. But for him to go out now and sue all these media outlets, they were not going to give him good press anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. And it's the way that they run things, right? Like, Media Matters goes and sues everyone just so it can be out in the light. So maybe that's their strategy. They're not necessarily looking to win, but they want these big organizations to either pay a settlement and basically admit a potential, a plea deal and admit some guilt, or to let it go to discovery. They're playing that game. So I guess my issue isn't necessarily with Trump and his team doing this. Here's my major issue. Where the fuck are the AGs in the states that these places are at, or that they're doing things? Where are the conservative AGs that are trying to do something here, or the other Trump surrogates that were slandered? Because I don't know. For me, it doesn't look great that a president is suing a bunch of these media organizations. But again, I'm kind of torn Because do they deserve it? No one deserves it more than these assholes. They lie about Trump all the time, continue to lie about him. They're constantly calling him, me, you watching, a Nazi, a fascist. So again, this is why we like Trump, because Trump fights. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know what the strategy is for suing him. I guess Trump is looking for either an admission or, a settlement, discovery, something to pop up so that he can claim a victory lap and use the bully pulpit to talk about it. But it's not like any of them are going to change their ways. New York Times is going to continue to be a fucking cesspool of shit. Penguin Random House is going to continue to suck and push trans shit and DEI shit to young kids because that's what they do. CBS News is going to continue to be CBS News. So it's not like any of these outlets are going to change what they do. So I don't know the strategy. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know how well it's going to do. But, I mean, we trust Trump to do so many things right now that I guess we're just going to have to continue to trust him. I don't fucking know. But it's, yeah, I guess I don't have a clear view, a clear brain about this. Maybe I'll think about it some more. But we'll see how it goes. We'll kind of keep track of where these are going, if they're going anywhere. If a judge just throws them away, because there's always that chance that the judge looks at it and says, freedom of the press, get the fuck out of here. You're a public figure. You cannot be, you cannot be liable. You can't be whatever. Like, being a public figure has different rules, and Donald Trump is the most public figure. So there might be a judge that looks at it and just throws it out on its face. Possibly. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see how this one plays out. But yeah, I kind of have mixed feelings on this. So I want to jump into the next piece, which I found very interesting. David shared like all these, but this is one that he shared that I found incredibly interesting. Really quick, let me take a sip here on my ginger ale. Ginger ale is delicious. I don't care what anybody says. Ginger ale is fucking delicious. But there is this real interesting Twitter post by Jacob Schell. He says here, note that the two issues below where Dems radicalized from Obama onward, affirmative action and immigration, were contradictory. The old affirmative action regime was designed for a country with a simpler ethno-racial dynamic, not for one with a significant pop of academically strong non-whites. Intersectionality theory prohibited the thinking through this contradiction and many others. If you talk to academic PMC Marxoids about such problems, they'd give an arm wavy, the dialectic will resolve this response, not noticing that the actual personification of the dialectic was arriving in the form of Trump. So there's a lot of big fancy words there. I want to look at the graphs. So let's read the graph here. Democrats have shifted sharply leftwards on cultural issues in recent years, leaving the median voter behind. Average position of Americans who identify as strong Democrats and strong Republicans compared to the median voter. So the source here, FT analysis of General Social Survey, FT's graphic. So I don't know how many they pulled in terms of getting this and how they got these numbers. So I will couch this by saying, let's take this with a grain of salt. And yes, ginger ale does go great with Jameson Nache. JMO Ginger was one of my go-tos in college. But anyway, so let's look at these percentages. So percentage who support affirmative action. If you look at the red line here on the right, it goes from 96 up until a little past 2000. They have consistently stayed near maybe the highest around near 10%, lowest damn near zero, right? For affirmative action support. And if you look at the median voter, which is gray, they're kind of somewhere hovering a little bit around 15%. They'll branch over and a little bit over 20% support. And now it looks like they're finishing right around 2020, a little over 20% support of affirmative action. Let's look at the Democrat line. So the Democrat line goes all the way and crashes. It starts off a little bit over 20% support with affirmative action, a little before 96. It crashes down below 20%, well below 20%, a little before 2004. Now you got to remember, 2000, 2004, those are Bush years, okay? Before that is Clinton years. So during the Bush years, everyone was kind of a little mum on affirmative action. In comes Obama in 08. You see a minor dip to the negative in 08 up until about maybe that looks like probably 2010. And then boom. Now, 2010, if I'm not correct, was BLM big in 2010? Is that when they started? BLM, is that like, cause I'm trying to remember, they kind of arose out of the ashes, right? So I'm trying to figure out exactly. I don't think it was 2010 what they were at their peak. It was 2013 they started. Okay. But 2010, you see a start to the left. And then 2012, Obama's reelected, right? And look at how far it goes over to the left until 2016 when Trump gets in office. It goes from, at the start of Obama's term, right a little bit over 20% support. And then when he gets reelected in 2012, it's right around that same area. In those 4 years, it goes all the way over to about 50% support of affirmative action on the left. And then the radicalization continues with Donald Trump being voted in. So let's now go look at the net percentage support of increasing or cutting immigration, because that is another one where you see the radicalization, right? The Republicans were for increasing a little bit more to the median as of 2000 with Bush. Then you have to remember 9/11 happens, right? And boom, it just flies off to the right. Everyone kind of goes a little rightward after 9/11, but the Republicans stay going that way. Even your medium voters kind of go with them. In 08, once Obama gets in, it kind of goes into the middle with the Republicans in terms of where they would be at like their best, right around minus 30% there. And then for cutting, and then they go off to the right and they stay to the right. Your medium voter goes a little left for at the end of the for Clinton, starts to come back with Bush years. It kind of goes to the right. And then under the Obama years, a little more leftward to Trump, where it really goes left. So looks like the medium voter went more towards the way of the left. Let's look at the left's line here. They start off kind of steady all throughout up to Bush. They stay steady. Obama, the moment Obama gets in office, all of a sudden they are all about immigration increasing. So it's an interesting graph. Take from it what you will. Take it as a grain of salt because, again, I don't know. I didn't look up the exact source. I don't know how reliable those numbers are, but it's just an interesting graph to see because when people talk about the divisiveness in the country starting under Trump, he's the reason it happened. That graph right there is an exact example. I'll pull it up again. This is when the fucking divisiveness started. Obama started the divisiveness. And it wasn't a racist thing. It wasn't because he's black. We're going to start being more divisive. Because he got voted in, motherfuckers. If we were that racist, he wouldn't have gotten voted in, right? It's one of those things where the proof is in the pudding. What happened was Obama's rhetoric. Obama himself talking about stupid police, and that could have been my son, and they acted stupidly, and all of the flames that man stoked with racial division caused the left to go further in both immigration support and affirmative action support because he was spewing racist bullshit consistently. And so was Michelle. And he gave that, and he was the start, and it was warned that he was a radical. He was a leftist radical, and he still is a leftist radical. If you look at his history, you look at what he studied, you look at his past, it's not surprising that things really went that way. And we dodged a bullet with Kamala that it didn't keep going further. Because it would have kept going further if she would have gotten in office. All right. Let's go to another post here. Not going to watch this full video, but Eyal Jacobi discussing a British man who wrote on social media that he doesn't want to see Palestinian flags all over the UK. The police then showed up at his house at 4 a.m. to arrest him. You could take over the streets of the UK, chant in support of terrorism, but be arrested if you oppose it. So let's watch the beginning of this video. We don't have to watch the whole thing. It's 6.5 minutes long. But let's watch the beginning of this video and listen to the police officers.
No. And to protect the vulnerable person, by means of building this imposed, you do not attend any events involved with Palestine, okay? The reasons why we did this is on the 17th of the 10th of 2023, on Bethel Green Road at 10:04, you were witnesses saying, obviously, people, while they're over here, etc., we let them into our country, etc. So, big deal. Yeah, okay. So, big deal. Why don't you on the television? Say that. Take him. Disgusting. You're disgusting. Absolute. I'm a stage 4 cancer patient and I need to here. Make a scene of shoes. The shoes is make the scene. You're arresting him because he said something in the street. He's not a Hamas, a terrorist organisation.
All right, so you get the gist of it. They came in and arrested him because he posted something. The UK is a police state, man. It is an absolute fucking police state. And it is embarrassing that we continue to look at them as someone who is a super close ally, to someone is, and no dark mode, that's wild. Sorry, Nate. I'll go switch it, okay, as I'm talking. That, we look at them as an ally. We look at them someone who's our closest ally, one of them. But they cannot even continue to support their own people and the freedoms of their own people. Like, I don't think people realize just this is not too far away for what we are doing, what's going to happen here in this country, because it all trickles down. Do you not think that that the leftists don't want this? They absolutely want this. This would be ideal for them if we were all just going to roll over and just do what they say. Roll over and listen to everything. You don't think that they want hate speech laws? That they want to make sure that we cannot say things? Of course they do. Of course they want to make sure that we absolutely can't speak our minds anymore, that we are not allowed to say what we want to say, be who we want to be, say the things that we want to say, how we want to say them. So you're living in a wild place right now. Now, I want to bring this tweet up because it kind of dovetails with this. Let's see, Nate G, the lady's accent is beyond crazy. I didn't understand a single thing she was yelling about. Nate, you got to watch more Lotus Eaters. If you watch more Lotus Eaters, you will start to speak Brad British because you'll hear all sorts of accents. And you have to just grow up with accents like me and my brother did with our Nonna and Nono who had hard Italian accents. I speak broken English fluently. And to me, the hard English accents sound like broken English because I speak American. So, but I do want to bring up this tweet, which I think kind of dovetails with what we are seeing going on right there. If I can learn how to use my computer properly. Technology. I love technology. So, former guest here, Ryan James Grodowski, coming on this right here saying, Allison Pearson is a journalist over in the UK, and she wrote, I believe, let me see, make sure. Yeah, she's a journalist, as far as I know, in the UK. Story so far: I am not a racist. I didn't post a racist tweet. 3, my tweet did not incite violence against any protected characteristic. 4, my fairly innocuous tweet was deleted a year ago. 5, senior lawyers say my tweet does not come near the threshold for criminal prosecution. 6, but Essex police upgraded the accusation from non-crime hate incident to offense under the Public Order Act. Why? 7, Essex police visited my home but refused to specify either the accusation or the accuser. 8, under pressure, Essex police deployed the terrorist fighting Gold Command to investigate a solitary Welsh journalist, 5'4" who still believes in freedom of speech. Weird, I know. 9. This is all nonsense, deeply sinister, frightening nonsense, and wholly disproportionate police overreach if you ask me. 10. Last night I realized I no longer feel safe in my own country. A terrible moment. As Elon Musk said, this must stop. It really must. So that's a journalist right there in the UK that the Essex police came after. And Ryan James Grudusky said this exact thing. Had this comment: I don't see why the American government should treat the United Kingdom like a first world democracy when they're utterly authoritarian towards their own people. And I said, tariff them as well until they enshrine free speech into their government, because fuck them. It's crazy that, like I said, we view the UK as one of our closest allies. English common law is a huge basis for everything that we have right now. Our Bill of Rights was based off the English common law, just enshrining a lot of English common law and the Judeo-Christian Western values come from, a lot of the Anglosphere and the Anglosphere beliefs. But they've gone off their fucking rockers. They are not one of us. Canada's not. Australia's not. New Zealand's not. We'll have some fucking shit about New Zealand in a little bit. But none of them are like us. Because, I grew up at least, where we had freedom of speech enshrined in our Bill of Rights. And that was important. And we've always heard, like, yeah, the Western powers, they're all going to, they all believe in it. They're all like, you don't have to worry if you're in an Anglospheric country, if you're a part of the Commonwealth, because even though it's not written down, it is just an English thing. It is a Anglo thing that free speech is important. And we're finding out it's not. That the importance of Americans having free speech enshrined is incredible. It's incredible. And it's something that we can't forget that we have as Americans, that we have this freedom of speech. So if you have any people in the UK right now, tell them to get the fuck out. It's bad. It's bad. Tommy Robinson's in jail for shit he didn't, for crimes he didn't even commit. This is not good. In the words of Jordan Peterson, this is not good. Okay, this is just not good. You have to sound like Kermit when you're saying it. So, yeah, this is what they're living in right now. So our brethren over there. I want to say Nate G over here. And Destiny is now arguing that point after being wrong about literally everything. He's crying for censorship now. Of course, he wants censorship. He's a fucking idiot. Destiny's a moron. And it's time to realize that guys like him, he's going to try to come back to the center a little now. He's going to, because that's his grift. He tries to sound like the smart, reasonable guy. But he showed his face. He showed his true colors. Destiny is as much of a leftist as it gets. He's a vitriolic individual. And he should be given no quarter. If you want to debate him. Fuck him up. He's easy to beat. We'll debate him here. I mean, I'll go on Destiny's channel. He's not coming to my fucking channel. I'm not going to let him burn my channel down with some idiotic shit that he says. But yeah, we'll debate him. Bring it on. He's not difficult. He's lost his fucking mind. Maybe he was a little bit better before when he wasn't TDS and crazy. But he's easy now. He flies off the handle. Guys like him, it's not difficult. Anyone in this chat could probably go debate Destiny and kick his ass right now. Because you're more informed. Because you're not living in a bubble of shit. That you just kind of sniff your own farts the whole time and just think it smells great. It's what these people are doing. So it is wild. It is a wild, wild world. And I want to bring you another wild, wild thing here that I just find to be some of the dumbest shit that, some people do. Let's bring it up here. So we have, let me go back. Let me get my other view. I don't like this view. There we go. We have Banchi saying here. So let me set this up. Some Polynesians in the New Zealand Parliament, I guess their benefits are on the line. So instead of, debating and talking about it like fucking adults, the youngest and newest member in New Zealand, the Kiwis, decides to do a haka. If people don't know what a haka is, it is a traditional Polynesian war dance that they do as an intimidation tactic. And it's also a sign of respect amongst the warriors before they go and they fucking kill themselves. This woman leading a haka, and all the fucking people in there, these old ass fuckers, politicians that probably never ever served in the military and never will, all doing the haka, is laughable. It's cringeworthy. And let me read Bonchi's tweet here. That they do their haka dance and sound all tough when their government bennies are on the line, but couldn't be bothered to make a sound when their government threw people into internment camps during COVID. So because I had to listen to this at one point and see this dumb fucking shit, so do you. So everyone, enjoy.
The House is suspended until the ringing of the bells. The gallery is to be cleared.
They're fucking embarrassing, man. I mean, it's like, how could you not be embarrassed if you're them? Like, the fact that you did that and you thought that had an impact. Like, that is that person that always that joke, like they thought they were cooking. These motherfuckers really thought they were cooking there. They thought that they had something and that they were so cool with their cool haka, and they just looked fucking stupid. Like, there's nothing intimidating about any of them. It's meant to be an intimidating dance. Who's intimidated there? These look dumb. And then you go up to the gallery and you have these fucking geriatric people doing it as well. Like, I mean, again, it's a traditional thing. It's a protest. It's not a fucking protest. It's basically, I'm going to fuck you up. It was warriors that they did before they went to war. And then you have like the people that are just sitting there just staring at them. And I can't imagine being just a normal fucking person in the New Zealand Parliament and just watching your morons that are around you do this. And it's like, oh, come on, guys, you're wasting our fucking time. And then if you stand up and you just go, these people are fucking stupid, you're going to get all sorts of shit. You're a racist. You're a this. You're a that. When in reality, they're just a bunch of children. Our benefits might be taken away. Like, shut the fuck up. If you have a debate it. Don't do that dumb shit. What's wrong with you? I don't know. It's cool when the Warriors do it. When the actual, like, they're all decked out in their war paint and shit like that, and they do it. Like, that's badass. That's badass. I've seen some cool hakas before. Like, that's cool. Seeing all these people in fucking suits, these soft-bodied motherfuckers doing that, like, get out of here with that. Nate G with the "Don't Tell My Heart, My Achy Breaky Heart." Yeah, that was a played over. You could find that online. It's actually makes it much more palpable. Palpable. It's a word. Anyway, I want to go on to this right here. We all know, here at least, that John Oliver's an idiot. But here's what happens when you have Trump derangement syndrome and you take it to the next level. Over here, XXXY Athletics. Oh my God, is John Oliver okay? And really, There's no difference between the athletic ability of boys and girls. These people can't be in control of anything important to society. And this is a quote tweet from a tweet by Richard Hanania. John Oliver explains how Democrats can respond to the trans issue. All they need to do is tell people there's no evidence that trans girls are at an unfair advantage or pose a threat to safety in athletic competition. So let's watch John Oliver. Like, best way to put it is try.
Ads on that one issue. And it was frustrating to see the Harris campaign fail to formulate a response, especially because it's pretty easy to do. Watch, I'll do it for you right now.
Okay, so that's a great spot. So he's railing on the Harris campaign because obviously he believes that this was an issue that was a big part of the loss, was that they didn't have a clear response on how to combat against the transgender athletes competing in girls sports. Okay, let's hear him.
As we've discussed before, there are vanishingly few trans girls competing in high schools anywhere. Even if there were more, trans kids, like all kids, vary in athletic ability. And
okay, so number one, there are a vanishingly small number of trans athletes competing in high schools anywhere. That's because there's laws now not allowing it, you fucking moron. If it was just being allowed, there'd be more competing. That's his first point. First point, he's an idiot. Number two, they don't have an advantage because they vary in athletic ability. Sure. But overall, a male going through puberty is going to be more athletic than a woman or a girl going through puberty. They have different physiological structures, and they are naturally gaining different muscle mass in different forms that are going to make them stronger. Nate G over here. Even the woke-ass UN admits in a study that 900 women have lost podium appearances to trans women. Yes. So let's continue with John Oliver. I'll try not to stop it too much more.
there is no evidence they pose any threat to safety or fairness. It is very weird for you to be so focused on this subject. And finally, if you...
Here he goes. He brings out the weird. It is very weird for you to be so focused on the subject. So me as a father of two girls, it is weird for me to be concerned about my daughter's safety when a boy is competing against them in their sport. And that could be a physical sport as well. It is weird that parents are concerned for their kids' safety. Because only the state should be concerned, right, John Oliver? Let's keep going.
Genuinely want to address the biggest concern for most girls who play high school sports, you'd be less worried about this and more about the creepy assistant volleyball coach who keeps liking their posts on fucking Instagram.
And this guy's such a loser. He makes a joke, you should be more worried about the creepy assistant coach liking it. Come on, dude. Come on. No, the concern is boys and girls locker rooms, okay? Pubescent boys that probably have autogynephilia. And John, if you don't know what that is, look it up, John Oliver, you fucking moron. But it is boys in girls' locker rooms, boys competing in girls' sports. That is the concern. And it should be a concern. And the fact that John Oliver isn't concerned about it and tried to just put up the flimsiest fucking argument for why it's not important. How does this guy have a following anymore? Like, how can you just be so fucking dishonest? It's incredible. I want to go over here. Sean, the actual Justice Warrior, has his take on it. Oliver's brilliant strategy to discuss trans athletes is to say it's not happening. But also, even if it is, there's no evidence that males have an advantage over females. But also, you're weird for knowing the point of female sports is to exclude males. Yes. And it's like, they sit there and they look at this and it's like, these are the same people that in the same exact token will freak the fuck out over Title IX anything. They will use Title IX every time they can for everything that they want. But when Title IX is actually being infringed upon, oh, now, no, it's not an issue. It's not an issue. It's fucking weird that you talk about it. You know, Title IX is actually being infringed. You are actually taking away women's spaces. You're taking away female scholarships. And any school that gives a scholarship to a male and a female sport should have every single person on that team quit. What's going on with the teams against San Jose State is fantastic. That they are all quitting. And all the fucking coaches for all of those other schools should be calling these San Jose athletes saying you have a free transfer. And the NCAA should grant them that transfer. because there's no reason they should be forced to change and be around a male competing. I would transfer. 100%. You play at San Jose State, you're a D1 college athlete, you could definitely transfer to a decent school. If I was them, I would transfer. Get the fuck out of there. Let the trans athlete be the only athlete left on that team. And shame on the fucking coach. Lose your job. Have some principles. So, yes, it is a problem. Yes, it is happening. Yes, John Oliver is a moron. But we knew that. Guy has more to say about fucking American shit than he ever will about his own stupid country, which we just covered. Better than he ever could. All right. So I want to jump over to this. We're going to switch away from some more political stuff. And we're going to jump over. I guess this is semi-political, but it's kind of not at the same time. So the popular, once popular card game, Cards Against Humanity. This is from Fandom Pulse. Cards Against Humanity weaponized their party game to attack Elon Musk and Donald Trump in the 2024 election. And I want to jump to the article by Fandom Pulse here. So there's the article. Let's read it. Cards Against Humanity joins many board and card games in turning their fun time product into a political weapon. In a new email sent to its customers, the company said it used this election season to harass Elon Musk with lawfare and bribe people to attack Donald Trump to vote against him, which is hilarious because you didn't hear the left screaming about them trying to bribe people to vote, but you did hear them screaming about Elon Musk with his motivation with trying to motivate people in money to vote. Rules for thee and not for me, right? Let's keep going. The game Cards Against Humanity became extremely popular about a decade ago. It's a sort of silly replacement for Pictionary, with the topic being chosen and people playing cards they think will be clever for the topic or funny for points for the most reaction. It's a simple concept, and it caught on like wildfire. Increasingly, Cards Against Humanity became more degenerate, with people often liking to use sexual innuendo in cards to make the game more adult-themed. Cards Against Humanity actually advertised itself as a party game for horrible people. And I will say, when Cards Against Humanity came out, I got Cards Against Humanity. It was fun. It was a fun little party game. But it did quickly lose its luster to the point where I think it's sitting in my office somewhere here. And we don't even think about taking it out when we have get-togethers anymore. It's something you do a few times. You read the cards. They become funny. You can only laugh at the same fucking cards. And I don't want to buy your expansion packs. Nate G over here saying, it's a good thing these trans activists don't actually follow sports. If they saw Jenny Finn striking out Albert Pujols, their dumb brains would wig out. That's true. Absolutely. That is absolutely true. All right, let's keep going here. However, the company has become increasingly political in the years since its success. In 2016, Cards Against Humanity released an expansion that attacked Donald Trump to save America from him. And you see Cards Against Humanity Saves America pack. They did a great job in 2016. Idiots. This election season, they become far worse. In September, the card game company harassed Elon Musk by filing a lawsuit against his SpaceX company in Texas. This was clearly an act of aggression because Elon Musk vocally endorsed Donald Trump and was campaigning for him. The car company bought property in Texas in 2017 near the Mexico border to harass Donald Trump and make it difficult to complete his proposed border wall. They said their goal was to make it as time-consuming and expensive as possible for the wall to get built. Now, they can use their money however they want. This is fucking stupid. Nobody should buy Cards Against Humanity anymore because they are wasting your money. Instead of making a better game, better cards, or maybe a different concept to stay relevant, they are getting it into politics. And let me remind you, some of these cards are fucking terrible. Like about like Holocaust jokes and a bunch of cum guzzling and things like that. Like really, really, really gross shit that would be taboo to say in any other time, really. And these are the ones that are going to get on their moral fucking high horse. It's always these types of people that do it too. Nate G saying, I still have my original Cards Against, just collecting dust. Yeah, me too. Like I said, I think it's sitting in my closet. Maybe I'll pull it out for tomorrow or something and we can look at some of their best cards, quote unquote. Cards Against Humanity filed a $15 million civil lawsuit for trespassing claiming Starbase, which is 3 miles away, was encroaching on their property. Their website states, we have terrible news. 7 years ago, 150,000 people paid us $15 to protect a pristine parcel of land on the U.S.-Mexico border from racist billionaire Donald Trump's very stupid wall. It continues. Unfortunately, an even richer, more racist billionaire, which is hilarious, Elon Musk, snuck up on us from behind and completely fucked that land with gravel, tractors, and space garbage. The website has images claiming damages to vacant property and more advertisements for the card game. Let's keep going here. As the election drew closer, Cards Against Humanity got worse. The company sent out an email saying, horrible. Let's read the whole email right here. It's right in front of us. Horrible friends. Last election, almost half of Americans didn't vote, and we think that's fucking bullshit. They owe America an apology. Nice. Just denigrate the people you want to vote for you. So starting today, Cards Against Humanity will pay for that apology. We're offering Americans' bluest non-voters up to $100 if they publicly apologize, make a step-by-step voting plan, and tweet Donald Trump is a human toilet. So let's talk about what they just did there. Not only is it illegal, number one. Number two, this, my friends, is called a struggle session. This, my friends, is exactly what Mao was talking about doing with unity. What was it? Unity, criticism, unity is what he called. That this is the criticism part. First, you want unity. You want all the people on the blue side to stay together. This right here is the criticism. You have to apologize and you have to basically affirm that you are going to be a part of the group. And then when you do that, we'll accept you back in. That's exactly what they're doing here. They are trying to struggle their people that they agree with to vote for them. And it ends here. We're trying to pay tens of thousands of swing state non-voters to do this, enough that it could actually swing the election. So help us raise cash to unfuck America by getting our all-new 2024 election pack featuring 30 fresh cards about this batshit election. 100% of the profits fund apologies. So they have to throw in their bullshit there. They made a stupid 2024 election pack. So let's look at it right here. One of their cards, new from JD Vance, hillbilly, and then their next one, fucking a couch. Haha, because that's the joke. He fucked the couch. And then the other one, Trump 2024, make partying with Jeffrey Epstein great again. Oh my God, so funny. And it's this whole thing should probably be illegal. So quick, give us your money before they change the law. Trump sucks gorilla balls, Cards Against Humanity. So they're children. Again, leftists are grown children. You come to realize even more that they believe in an extremely immature ideology. So they are immature people. Like collectivism, communism, Marxism is an immature, I want to be a lazy fucking just do art every day and read books and do nothing ideology. And this is the type of people you get attracted to it. A bunch of grown children. Let's finish out real quick. This can be construed as violation of 18 U.S. Code 597, which states whoever makes or offers to make an expenditure to any person either to vote or withhold his vote or to vote for or against any candidate. Cards Against Humanity lives up to its promise of being awful. The company seems more interested in meddling with America's safety and space exploration than simply being a fun card game for people to play at parties. And they're not even that fucking fun anymore. So that's Cards Against Humanity being a bunch of retards. Yeah, they really suck, honestly. It's just not fun when something, like they said, that is meant to be just a fun game, then all of a sudden becomes this, more than what they're supposed to be. So Nate G coming in with the sports talk, unrelated, but Georgia might have eliminated Tennessee from the playoffs. And then he comes back, bye-bye Tennessee, come on in SMU, which is sad. I mean, fuck Tennessee, I don't care, the SEC. But it would be nice to see a different school because honestly, Nate, my fear is, and I said this the other last week when we looked at the first rankings, this just opens the door for Alabama. Every team that's knocked down, as long as Alabama keeps winning, like let's see, what did Alabama do today? Did they win today? Because if they won today, that's all you need. So for Alabama to knock off a few wins, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, Alabama, they're playing in the toughest conference known to man ever. Yeah, Alabama, they had such a tough game today. 52-7 against Mercer. They beat Mercer. So, yeah. Let's see the rest of Alabama's schedule here. Let's see all their barn burners. So they have Oklahoma 5-5, and then they have Auburn 4-6. Now, the Iron Bowl, anything can happen. That's not the Iron Bowl. No. But Alabama, Auburn, anything can happen. But let's see. Let's see what happens. If Alabama wins out, I 100% see them being in the playoff. They're going to figure out a way to put them in. But it's terrible. Yep, Nate G just says it just got messy. And in other news, Rutgers is bowl eligible with their win over Maryland today at Maryland. Probably the best football they played all year. Georgia raged on Tennessee. Yeah, or ragged on. Yeah, they did their part. Listen, Georgia's just trying to get back in, do their thing. So we're going to jump into some gaming news. We're going to go away from a lame game to some gaming news. Friend of the show, Stuttering Craig, we're gonna talk about two of his tweets, but this is the first one we're talking about. Stuttering Craig. This report is straight up anti-gamer propaganda. The report claims that 1.83 million unique pieces of extremist or hateful content on Steam. There are about 132 million monthly active users on Steam. Congrats. You found out that 1.83% of people are assholes, which I would argue is a lower percentage than the rest of the world. So what is he talking about? Let's go to it. PC Gamer, which is an absolute fucking rag, has this article. Steam accused of normalizing hate and extremism in the gaming community, a new ADL report. So, first off, this is what the ADL is doing with this time. The Anti-Defamation League, a organization that was founded to stop anti-Semitism, is going after gamers. Now, this isn't surprising. They do this. And they're going to come after them more now because gamers were a big part of the base that elected Donald Trump. So there's going to be more of gamer hate. But this is what the ADL is doing. So let's go here. Anti-Defamation League found that it has a report alleging that Steam is rife with extremism and anti-Semitism, and accusing Valve of allowing a spread of hateful and extremist material through highly permissive approach to content policy. They said that it is a platform-wide analysis, data on Steam including more than 458 million user profiles, 152 million profile and user group avatar images, and 610 million user comments. They found millions of examples of extremist or hateful content, including explicit hate symbols like Sonarads and Happy Merchants, as well as copy pastas, blocks attested or copied and pasted to form images and long form writing shaped into swastikas being shared on the platform. So, let's talk here. Gamers are shitposters. Gamers say fucked up things all the time to each other. It's just what goes on. And this goes back to when Donald Trump said to the Access Hollywood video where he grabs him right by the pussy and things like that. This is the way real people talk. To your friends and in the gaming community, you say the most fucked up and vile shit to each other. It is just how it is. There's nothing vitriolic about it. There's nothing real about it. It is just the way the community is. It's just the way people talk. Real people, when they are in competitive, heated moments, or when they're sitting there and just talking where they believe that they are safe, say vile shit. We talk shit. We joke around. And that's just how it is. You're going to have people that come in holier than thou, but that is just how it is. Let's keep going. The clear gaps in Steam's moderation of this content inflict harm. By reading something, it inflicts harm by exposing untold users to hate and harassment, enabling potential radicalization and normalizing hate and extremism in the gaming community. Again, they're just going after the gaming community. They are raging and looking at bullshit. Understanding the extent of extremist and hateful content on the platform is a key to fighting the proliferation of hate online. And what they mean is things that we don't want people to say. We want to control speech. We want speech to only be on our terms. The ADL used to be useful. And you would think they would still be fucking useful with all the anti-Semitism going on with the war in Israel and all of the whole entire block of leftists that just talk about wanting to kill Jews and destroy Israel. You would think that they have better shit to do than to harass Steam users. But here they are. There's a whole war going on that is trying to kill Jews. But here we are. Have to go after the gaming community. Let's keep going. Pepe the Frog and swastikas are the most common extremist symbols found on Steam, according to the report. Pepe the Frog, the fact that they are still calling Pepe the Frog an extremist symbol is one of the funniest things ever. Ever. It's absolutely hilarious. 54.6% of Pepe the Frog and 9.1% of swastikas were some of the detected symbols. They also found tens of thousands of pieces of terrorism-related content on the Steam community, more than 15,000 public accounts with profile pictures featuring flags or logos of ISIS, Hezbollah, Hamas, and others. And hundreds of accounts are found using photos of white supremacist mass murders, Brenton Tarrant and Andrews Breivik. Now, here's the thing. This is an organization trying to tell a private company how to do what they do. Steam is for the gamers. Again, gamers are fucked up. People are allowed to have flags. Do I agree with it? Do I want to see ISIS, Hezbollah, Hamas? Do I want to see fucking white supremacist killers? No, absolutely not. But it's someone's right to have it up there. And if Steam, as a, I guess, editor, or you would call them that, a publisher, will allow them to do it, who the fuck is the ADL? Who is the ADL to talk about this? Port says Steam's public-facing content policy includes no mention of hate or extremism, and PC Gamer says, which isn't entirely accurate. The Steamworks documentation specifically states that content with hate speech, i.e. speech that promotes hatred, violence, or discrimination against groups of people based on ethnicity, religion, gender, age, disability, or sexual orientation, should not be published on the platform. And the Code of Conduct does not make specific reference to hateful or extremist content, but does forbid harassment, disruptive or damaging behavior, and the violation of personal rights of other users. And so the thing is, you need to be careful when you are moderating what gamers are saying, because gamers, like I said, talk shit. It is not always intended to harass. There is a difference between a constant targeted thing, which is harassment, right? If you are constantly going at the same person, saying the same thing, denigrating them for one characteristic, an immutable characteristic, more than likely, yes, that's harassment. That should be wrong. That should be kicked the fuck out. But just by saying something fucked up, no, go away. These people have never been in a COD fucking waiting room before the game. Those used to be a blast back in the day. They were funnier than actually playing the game when you would talk shit. Let's keep going. Blah, blah, blah. The effectiveness. So let's see. The report says Steam appears to be technically capable of moderating content and has done so selectively in the past in response to external pressure. One example of that would be removing Pepe the Frog emoticons from the Steam marketplace following a DMCA takedown notice filed by the Pepe creator Matt Fiore. But here's the thing. It was the creator that asked him to remove it. It wasn't because a bunch of people complained that it was a hate symbol. It was the creator. That's very different. That the creator asked for it not to be used. But its overall approach has been largely ad hoc, with Valve failing to systematically address the issue of extremism and hate on the platform because they don't want to. They just want to deliver games. And that's why there's a fucking report button. See, the thing that bothers me about this, and I know a lot of people bring up, the ADL's coming in with their big fucking report. This is so bad. There is a report button on these messages for a reason. If someone is truly offended, if someone truly takes it to heart, they can absolutely report it. The fact that these aren't being reported en masse means that gamers do not give a fuck about what is being said. They don't need to enforce anything because there's nothing to be enforced. There's enough complaints about a user, they'll ban them. There's enough complaints about things, they'll ban them. So, okay. They say, they talk about enforcing the rules. It's been an ongoing problem for Steam. We reported, PC Gamer, on Valve's hate group problem in 2018. In 2022, Senator Maggie Hassan sent a letter to Valve boss Gabe Newell alleging a significant presence of users displaying and espousing neo-Nazi extremist, racial supremacist, misogynistic, and other hateful sentiments, and asking Valve what Valve was doing about it. Valve needs to make significant changes to their approach to platform governance, both in terms of policy and practice, to address the ways in which hate and extremism have proliferated on the Steam platform, the report says. As the ADL has stated previously, policymakers, they want the government to step in, must demonstrate their commitment to disrupting hate and harassment in online and multiplayer games. While government is necessarily focused on the dangers posed by social media and AI, policymakers must also pay attention to immediate threats pervasive in online gaming environments. So again, report button. If they're not reporting it, it's not a big deal. So the APL put pressure on Twitch, leading temporary bans, blah, blah, blah. Reached out to Valve for comment and report will apply. So this is a mouthpiece for propaganda, okay? That is all that piece was. That was a warning shot that PC Gamer just sent to Valve, that PC Gamer just sent to Steam, that this is a report that we are putting up there. ADL put it out there, but they know people read PC Gamer. For some reason, they're still around. The 5 people that read it, but it gets spread out. And this, like Craig said, let's go back to Craig's tweet here. Like Craig said, if I can get there. Boom. It's straight up anti-gamer propaganda. That's the best way to put it. Nate, I demand Steam add a cry button. Or you know what they should do, Nate? They should, if you feel that bad, you should be able to click on a spot that says safe space. And you just go, the screen goes like dark and you're just in a room and they supply you with virtual like crayons and things like that. And like a virtual dog for you to pet. So you can just go be a grown fucking child adult like these people are. But yeah, that is incredibly ridiculous. And I want to go back though. Stuttering Craig with another tweet later in the day yesterday. This is even worse. Jeff is removing transparency from his award show, the exact opposite of what he should be doing. This is why Real Game Awards exist, and it's important we continue to grow our voting membership every year with the alternative to this corporate dribble. So what is he talking about here? Number 1, go support the Real Game Awards. Number 2, let's go back to a tweet here. This is back on December 7th. Unmasking the Game Awards, exploring the Game Awards voting process, I uncover a lack of transparency in its secretive jury and voting. I found several cases of concerning conflicts of interest, an eye-opening call for ethics reforms to preserve the award's credibility. And he then comes back, and this comes back the 15th, yesterday. In response to my video, the Game Awards has taken the unprecedented step of this year of deleting their jury page and hiding who's involved. We have moved further away from transparency, and the gaming awards should be ashamed. So that's just fucking crazy, guys. I'm going to stop sharing this because I want to do a little more research on this as well. But overall, Craig made the Real Game Awards for that exact reason, like he said, because he wants the gamer. Now, I'm not a big gamer anymore. I do want to become a paying member. I do want to support Craig. I need to, because that's the right thing to do. But it is unthinkable to me that you can have something like the Gamer Awards and not want the gamers to be directly involved. And like I said, that's why we need to switch to the Real Game Awards. We need to make sure that we get people like Craig and Side Scrollers to absolutely become the premier Game Awards. And this is what I was looking for. Pirate Nation found the jury of who is the Real Game Awards voting group. It's not you. I'll let you know that. It is not you. So here it is. Stuttering Craig, I present you the quote-unquote jury for the Real Game Awards. You. And then Pirate Nation here, ladies and gentlemen, I present you the jury for the Game of the Year Awards. So let's click on this. According to the official website of the Game Awards, the opinion of fans counts in the selection of the winners, but the value for their vote is much smaller than that of the jury. Thus, the jury's decision counts for 90% compared to 10% of the popular vote. Here's the jury. IGN, Inverse, Jeff Gressman Show, Kinda Funny, the LA Times. The fuck does the LA Times know? Minimax, don't know what that is. PC Gamer, they're dumbass. Polygon, they're dumbass. VentureBeat, they're dumbass. The Verge, Touch Arcade, What's Good Games, Game Rant, NPR. NPR gets a vote. Pride.com gets a vote, and Variety gets a vote. That group counts for 90% of your vote. That is exactly why nobody, absolutely nobody, should support the Game Awards. And you should absolutely go and support the Real Game Awards right here. Go at Real Game Awards to go and support Craig. There's no reason why this shouldn't be absolutely massive for a number. We need to get people out there to support it, because if you are a gamer, this should be important to you that your game is heard, that your gaming knowledge is heard, that the games that you want, you could put in categories. You can go, if you become a voting member, you could sit there, you could vote, you could suggest categories, and there's tiers to your membership. Absolutely should be doing this. Nate G says the soft left has had so much success attacking the gamer community. They really have. And it's important that, again, you also support people like Stuttering Craig and side scrollers with blabs over there, like G&G, to battle and truly battle. Salty Nerd's another one too, and Nerdrotic, and everything they're doing, the cultural stuff, to battle and win the battle, to keep gaming about you, the gamer, not about the fucking bureaucrats, not about the people writing about it who barely play the games. You know, keep it about people like Smash JT, our buddies James and Kay over at Melee Games. Keep it about those types of people that actually play the games, the ones that you actually go to find out if a game is good. Nobody fucking goes to PC Gamer. No one goes to Variety or the LA Times or Pride.com to find out if a game's good. You go watch your favorite streamer. That's what you do. And you go play it yourself. So it's incredibly important that we completely and totally stop supporting all this bullshit, because it's bad. Nothing else to say. It is fucking bad. All right. What else do I got? I got a few more things here, and then I'm getting the fuck out of here. But I want to go with this one right here. It's going to be a quick one. But apparently, DreamWorks is jumping on more on the live action shit. And I don't know why. I don't think we need this, but we are getting it. Here is the first look at Hiccup in the live action How to Train Your Dragon remake, expected to be in theaters June 13, 2025. Let's take a look at our boy Hiccup. I mean, I don't think they did a terrible job with that. Looks nerdy. He looks tiny. He looks frail. Doesn't look very intimidating. That's Hiccup. Hiccup's supposed to be very, not intimidating, honestly. He's just someone that looks to be a pushover. He doesn't want to kill dragons. He's not interested in it. At this point, he has met Toothless. He knows Toothless in the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert. I'll possibly watch this. I don't know. Not very interested. The live actions don't do it for me. I mean, if I see some good clips, if the trailer looks good, maybe I'll watch it. Apparently, like, it's not terrible looking, but I don't know. Not very. Anyone have any opinions on this in the chat? If they're gonna go watch How to Train Your Dragon live action, like, and I like the How to Train Your Dragon movies. I think they're fucking great. I know David said he's never seen them, but I think they're great. I think they do a really good job, and I like the dragons. I like fantasy. I like that whole entire genre. And I thought, the Viking angle of it, and Hiccup not wanting to kill dragons and not wanting to become a real Viking that way, and just everything. Like, I thought they did a good job creating a lore and things like that. Do I need a live action? Do I need a CGI dragon flying the fuck around everywhere? Like, that's the thing. They did a terrible job with Aragon. Love Aragon. They fucked Aragon up. It was a terrible movie. Absolutely terrible. CGI wasn't great. The acting sucked. I don't think DreamWorks is going to have shitty actors. I think the acting is going to be okay. But, I mean, why? Who needs this? I was expecting to do something with How to Train Your Dragon because Epic Universe has a How to Train Your Dragon world. I didn't think they were going to be doing a live action. Now I have to see this fucker around the place the whole time instead of the cartoon version. I don't know. I guess I'm just worn out by all the live action shit, if we're being quite honest. But, all right. Outside of that, we are going to jump into our last thing, which this is going to hurt me because this is going to be stupid. But Geeks and Gamers lets out the Fantastic Four first steps. First official synopsis has been revealed. First off, what do you guys think of this graphic? It has that like classic-y Fantastic Four look. The Marvel Studios, the classic look. I don't know what time period they're going for. They're doing that kind of like old aesthetic with it. I guess that works. Nate G over here. Never optimistic about live action. Might be forgetting something, but I feel Fallout is the only good live action translation. And Fallout has its problems. Did I hear that right? I don't like Vigo Aragorn. I mean, I don't hate it, okay? It's not like... Listen. Don't give me shit, Nate, okay? Don't give me any shit here. Let's read the synopsis, okay? Fantastic Four. Set against a vibrant backdrop of the 1960s inspired, 1960s, retro-futuristic world, Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps introduces Marvel's first family. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, which is Pedro Pascal. Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. Kirby, I don't know all these people playing him. Johnny Storm, Human Torch. Quinn. And Ben Grimm, the Thing, Moss Backrack. As they face their most daunting challenge yet. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, they must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus, Ralph Ineson, and his enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer, Julia Gardner. Now that sentence there hurts me to just... Why'd they have to gender swap my favorite character in Marvel? Like, and I love the Fantastic Four. I'm not going to go see this. And I hope it flops. Silver Surfer is Norrin Rad. Silver Surfer is a man. Silver Surfer sacrificed himself so his planet would survive, so that Shalabal, his love, would survive. Silver Surfer is not a woman. I don't care if there's an obscure fucking comic at some point that had an arc with Silver Surfer being a woman. Silver Surfer is not a woman. Okay, let's finish this. And if Galactus' plan to devour the entire planet and everyone on it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. That's via IGN. Gang, it's going to be fucking terrible. I have no hopes for this being good at all. It's going to be bad. And there is nothing that any of us could do about it. And yeah, it's honestly, it's all I really have to say. It's not much more. With the Silver Surfer being a girl, like, what are we looking forward to? What are we looking forward to? Do we have anything to really look forward to when it comes to the fact that they're willing to change that? And there's a family dynamic that's going to be so fucking wonky and fun in the 1960s. Ooh. Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic. Like, again, there's so much going against this movie already. And let's not forget, they tried Fantastic Four already a second time, and it was awful. Absolutely terrible. The first one kind of passed the sniff test. Rise of the Silver Surfer they got right. The story was terrible. But they got the Silver Surfer, the character, right. Let's see if they make Galactus a giant fucking storm again. But, yeah, no. I can't see this Fantastic Four being any good. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I am just scorned and angry because my favorite character is being gender swapped. But shouldn't be surprised. But all right. Outside of that, I don't think I got anything else for you guys. I appreciate everyone that watched. Nate G, I always appreciate you. Coach Farrell, I always appreciate you for jumping in. John, I appreciate you for jumping in early as well. Dave, I hate you. You'll be back in a few days. fun as always. Every once in a while to jump on, do it on my own. But yeah, let's say Nate G saying the incredible storylines you could have worked towards with the best Marvel villain, in my opinion, Doctor Doom. Instead, we get Lady Silver Surfer and Trash Pedro Pascal. And apparently, Nate, this is a rumor Dave told me. Apparently, Mr. Fantastic and Victor Von Doom don't know each other in this version. Not like, Victor wasn't on the fucking shuttle with them and that's how they got their powers, but I digress. Maybe they'll explain it somehow. But honestly, I'm not going to waste any more energy on it until I got to yell about it some more in another future story. But again, everyone, I appreciate everyone for watching. When, if you're watching on X, Facebook, YouTube, Kick, wherever you are, we appreciate you. Go do the appropriate follow, repost, like, share, smash the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you are following on podcast form, we thank you for listening. We appreciate it as well. And if you want to go and give us a good rating, that would always be helpful, completely and totally. And Nate G with the Nightman, we miss you. Nightman will be back at some point soon. David gets all the nicknames. I love it. He's AOL Dave. He's Nightman. We got a few. We got to see if we can keep racking up. We have to make him put AOL Dave /Nightman now. He can't just have AOL Dave when he's here. It's got to be /Nightman. We have to know his secret identity. We should just pile up the nicknames for Dave and see how far his bar can get below his name. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I will be back tomorrow shooting the shit, talking some shenanigans. But I